All right, buddy. This is the part where we have as much fun as anybody in the world, Pat. There's a heck of an argument. This really probably should have been the top of the decode, but it became the flip because, maybe you and I have a slightly different viewpoint on the topic, but this whole China H20 NVIDIA thing, I mean, how much fun or pain is the world in right now as it tries to discern whether or not we can keep selling not just Nvidia but AMD, Intel, and other advanced chips into China. Let's run the flip. Did you win? You win. I
It
looked away.
depends if I win or lost. Like what am I supposed to be arguing here again, Dan?
Well, I mean, I think essentially you're arguing that we should keep selling those chips to China. That it is not that the right thing to do is to keep them with these lower powered chips that we've designed for their market.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think we should be doing, and here's why. Right, it's a very simple equation here. Everything that we can sell China that's underpowered from NVIDIA, Intel, and AMD is a good thing because we're keeping money that could be used for R&D with Huawei, with SMIC, to develop their own stuff. Now, I do believe that the Chinese are gonna develop their own stuff on their own, and they will continue this. But why fuel the fire? Now, while it's easier for the largest folks in China to get around CUDA and use either abstraction layers or something like PyTorch, there are businesses that have used CUDA, and it would be hard for them to get off, but not impossible. And every time we think we're going to slow down China, it never happens. I mean, look at on the smartphone SoC, the Kirin 9000X, right? They got cut off from TSMC, and they built an advanced 5G SoC. SMIC keeps going on, ships 7 nanometer class chips using equipment before a lot of these rules went into effect, and even after these rules went into effect. You've got Chinese drones using banned US components out there. You've got China that continues to use US sourced FPGAs, memory, RF front ends, like they've skirted everything. And I just don't think this is going to slow down. And just puts an exclamation point, Daniel, on why we shouldn't fund the R&D of Huawei is this latest Huawei AI Cloud Matrix 384. And even, Dylan Patel over at SemiAnalysis says, hey, it's China's answer to NVIDIA's GB200 NVL72. What too many people are grasping on is looking at the chip itself, okay, which is, yeah, it's not even as performant as an H100, but that's losing the plot because, as we saw from Jensen, this is a rack scale problem. And Huawei built a rack scale solution that has 2x, 2.6x lower flops per watt as a chip. And as a rack, takes a lot more power. But guess who creates a third of the energy out there? It's China. Who has built 30 nukes at the same time the West has built 3? It's China. Who continues to build coal-fired plants to generate electricity? China. Electricity is not an issue. And what they did to get the full rack performance out, and I'll call it the fleet performance, is everything is optics. You know how Jensen talked about, oh my gosh, we're fixing to go optics here. Well, guess what? They've already gone full optics in a scenario where every accelerator can talk to every accelerator. So this is just yet another example. We should be feeding detuned G20s, MI 308s, and Intel Gaudi 3s right into China to keep them hooked on this, keep them hooked on CUDA.
A lot of your arguments actually make my arguments, so I really appreciate that, Pat. But first and foremost, it's not our job to continue to fuel and fund China's war with the United States. We are not allies with this country. This is the same country that's been hacking our infrastructure. This is the same country that supports efforts in other parts of the world and supports the Houthis with satellite information that can be used to harm our Navy. We are in a major trade war. They are withholding energy from us. They're withholding resources and minerals from us. And they have been unfairly, doing trade with us for a long time and undoing a big part of the American economy while achieving its own global objectives and doing so very, very promptly. Now, again, this has been good for earnings and been good for Wall Street, but it hasn't been good for our country. We talked earlier about IP. They've stolen everything from us. You know how many editions of software they buy from us from any one of our vendors? They would buy one, then they would copy it and steal it. That's what they would do. Right now, they're in the process of absolutely and reverse engineering everything we do, whether it's CUDA, whether it's our chips, whether it's our networking, whether it's our optics. We have the technology leadership, and leading the world in technology is our economic security. Does selling China a tuned down H20 chip change its resolve to build the next generation of Huawei chip or systems? Hell no. Absolutely not. They're doing this anyways. And wow, the $5 billion, that's nothing. China can make more impact than that just by impacting its own currency on the daily basis. It prints more, it can create more. And remember, these companies are not operating in a silo from China. China funds its companies. So if this is of interest to China, the reason they're building 30 nukes while we build 3 is because China pays for it. So while we have $50 billion CHIPS Act bills that get no funding for 3 years, they're moving forward. So I just find it laughable as a whole. We can sell them these, we cannot sell them these. They're going to move just as fast. The real question is whether or not they can actually succeed without our software. CUDA is the platform. The developers build on it. Now, over years, Pat, we've heard Microsoft can't be successful with AI chips because they don't have CUDA. Broadcom chips won't work. They don't have CUDA. Amazon, they'll never be successful. They don't have CUDA. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Over time, the companies that have the resources to build software using higher levels of abstraction will absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. China will do it as well. So the question is, how fast do we enable it? Last point I'll make, and I have a lot more I could do. The flip's got to stay short. China, okay, hold on. I lost my thought there, so give me a second there. There we go. OpenAI and Elon Musk are tweeting, posting that they have GPUs melting. They don't have enough capacity, and yet we are using wafer. And I know it's not the same, and I know it might be some retooling, and I know we need different memory, and I know we would need more. But what if NVIDIA, instead of using capacity to sell tuned down chips to China to help our enemies become more successful in the world's most important technology that will deem the world's economic order for the next 3, 4, 5 decades? What if instead we built the chips that were needed by US companies that are screaming and crying for more GB200s, for more Blackwell? They are ready to take more capacity. Why are we using the capacity? Why are we using wafers? Why are we using memory? Why are we using our R&D to build something special for China when we could be building and making sure great US companies have all the AI chips they need to power the future? All right. So what do we really believe, Pat, now that we've had that little debate? That was fun. I actually lost my train of thought. I hope they edit that out, but maybe they should leave that in because it would be unfair if I look better in my debate. Well, they didn't slow me down while I forgot my point. But by the way, I forgot my point, everybody. I had to stop there for a minute because I had another point to make. And so Pat argued it really well. But what do you think? Like, what's your real take on all this?
We should keep selling it to them regardless. I
Make
mean,
the money, take the money.
Any dollar that any profit that NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel makes on their accelerators gets fed back to those companies and not to Huawei. But you made a pretty good argument about I think the degree of R&D, or at least that's where I thought there's this moneyless, bottomless money pit. But yeah, as we hand wring over checks we haven't even written yet, and the Trump administration, calls CHIPS Act a giveaway, China's, writing $100 billion checks and printing money to keep up. It's sad. And listen, I want less spending, but this is the type of spending that just makes sense.
It's funny. It's like I was kind of laughing because a lot of things you said kind of made my same point. Like in the end, like I just don't care. I mean, what I do believe though is like I don't think H-20s are what they're going to use to create weapons that are going to match our weapons with what we can build with the most advanced. I mean, but I also think like to some extent it's just super interesting to watch the whole world order change where suddenly the what's kind of the liberal elite believe that like we should be enabling China. And we, where at the same time, like we have US based companies that literally can't get what they need right now to build AI. And there's only so much capacity we can create right now. But the other thing is like China's they're going to do it. Like that, this is where I just basically say is they're going to do it either way. Like, so the question is it, where I really think it wasn't so much my debate, sell it or don't sell it, but my real debate was like the belief that this is going to actually make them go any faster or slower. I think they're going to go as fast as they can. They know what's at stake. These guys, China's smart. We underestimate, overestimate at different times, but like, look, anyone that believes they're not all in on building this is absolutely lost their marbles. So the real question is, how much are we enabling them? And how much does a handful of billions of dollars of tuned down chips? And by the way, what about all the chips they get that they shouldn't get, Pat? Like neither of us really argued this in our conversation, but like, is it the H-20s that are really the problem, or is it all the chips that a lot of people believe? Now, again, we can debate. You and I are not saying they do, but a lot of people believe, and there's a lot of evidence out there that would indicate that they don't only have H-20s over there. They have 100s, they have H-200, they have Blackwells. They're getting all of the AI chips into China.
Yeah, there was a day that you could do that, and then they started to. I like to call it side loading. And how many times have we talked? I mean, this is essentially the form factor of an HGX, what we call a chip or a card, right? And you put four of them in there,
What
and
kind of pills are those? It's a lot of pills.
yeah, this is betaine HCI pepsin, which
Okay.
is essentially to increase the acidity in my stomach.
All right. I didn't know if that was like methylene blue or what you were doing over there, RFK.
I have taken methylene blue, by the way. So, but I'm
All right.
taking.
How's that? Is
Yeah,
that good? Is it working?
I mean, it helped me when I was in my dark days. I had zero. Remember zero energy, Pat?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
I like
horrible.
that guy. I was running laps around that guy. This kind of keeps taking me to the mat on all these debates. Is killing me.
Yeah, low energy Pat was a lot more fun at night too.
Yeah, he was a miserable son of a. Anyway,
Well, in the
all right.
morning, yeah.
All right, good debate, good flip. Everybody, remember, what we post on Twitter is probably on X is probably closer to what we really believe. But these things are a lot of fun. Just be nice to people, though. Stay nice, because in the end, like we may find we agree on some things and don't agree on some things. It's made the world go round for at least a couple of millennia.